So we are live, and it's 7 o'clock. We have 13 people watching.
Excellent.
Cool.
Another few
Welcome,
minutes,
everybody.
and then we will get going. So hi, everybody. We can't see you, but you can see us. Also, just a few words. The what's it called? The stream is on a 20-second delay. So not that that matters to us, but it will matter to questions and things like that. It takes a few seconds to come in.
Give us a chance to edit out Steven's foul mouth. All those curses he's known to come out with.
And Nat, thank you so much for getting these clips together. This is going to be fun to see
Yeah,
down here.
it was great. I mean, I ended up with some really nice stuff.
Nice.
15. How about we start when we have 20 watching? That sound good?
That's good.
Would you prefer that we mute ourselves generally, or yes?
Yeah, we're gonna mute. Everyone's gonna mute when we're watching a clip,
Okay.
and then we're gonna chat
Right.
about. I'll just introduce us. We'll go around. I'll introduce the ensemble. I mean, if anyone's watching, the invitation went out quite widely, so I'll just say who we are, and I'll call your names because you'll have to do in the order you're on my screen. We'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll go to our first clip.
I invited my church choir because this is normally our Thursday night Zoom meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
There's
There's
Elsa.
nothing.
Hello. Candace right over.
Hi.
Hey, Linda. How are you
Hey.
doing?
Good.
We have 20 watching. Hooray!
Do we know who they are? Can we go to chat, or did they let
There's
us know?
chat on YouTube, but they're not on the Zoom. So the only people who can see it, I mean, Andy can see it, and I have it over here, but I'm not paying attention to it.
Okay.
I set it up just to make sure I could see that it was working, and I just left it alone.
Yeah.
So we'll officially start. We have 9 singers. A few more singers may join us. Oh, there's a 10th right now. Oh, but she went away.
No, she's in. She's out. She's in.
Yes.
Hey, Vicky. So I'm sure many of you who are watching this on YouTube know who we are. Counterpoint is a semi-professional vocal ensemble based in Montpelier, Vermont. Our singers they live all over the state of Vermont and in a thin strip of western New Hampshire. So before we start, and here comes our next,
Cameron.
and here's someone else. In these first few minutes, we'll be adding people in as they join us. More and more, right? Good. So I'm going to go around and ask people to introduce themselves in the order you are on my screen. I say your name, what voice part you usually sing when you're in good voice, and maybe the town in Vermont or Hampshire you live in, just so people who are joining us have a sense of our geographical spread. I'll start because I'm the artistic director. I'm Nat Liu, as my name is on the screen. When I'm not conducting, I sing tenor, and I live in Burlington. Andy, you're first up on my screen.
Hi guys, I'm Andy Ross. I'm a tenor, and I live in Montpelier, right next to the Catholic Church.
Neil W.
Hi there, Neil Wasik. I'm from Shelburne, Vermont, and I sing bass.
And Vicky's on her own screen. So Linda, you're next on my screen.
I am Linda Radke. I sing alto and counterpoint, and I'm from Middlesex.
Brian.
Brian is muted.
Oh, Brian's.
Unmute himself.
Hi, I'm Brian. I sing tenor, and I also represent the tiny sliver of Western New Hampshire. Thank you very much.
And you live in Lebanon, right?
I live in Lebanon. Yes, thank you.
Melissa.
Hi, I sing alto when I sing with Counterpoint, and I'm in Middletown Springs.
Steve.
Hi, I sing bass and I'm in Montpelier.
Aaron.
Hi, I sing alto always. And I am in Sheldon, Vermont, which is about 8 miles before the Canadian border.
Cameron, you're on my left.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I sing tenor and I live in Williston.
I'm Allison and I sing soprano and I live in Williston.
We live together.
With Cam, yeah.
And
And
You're next.
Maria.
Yes.
whoops.
Hi, I'm Maria, and Maria Lamson. I live in South Royalton, right on the White River.
Great. Just backing up, Annie, can you hear me?
Yes.
There you are. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I mean, I didn't hear you before. Hi, I'm Annie, and I live in Manchester, Vermont, and I'm a soprano 1.
And Vicky.
Hi, I'm a soprano 1. Next to my hubby. High five me. Okay. And we live in Shelburne.
So what we're going to do this evening is we have some video of recent performances. Some are live videos, as you'll see with us singing. Others are these beautiful videos that Annie, who's on the screen there, made for us, where she took recordings that we had made and put these beautiful images. This was from a project we did a year and a half ago now, which was going around to Vermont schools and singing songs with and for the school children about climate change, global climate change. There's a fabulous program called 6 Degrees, and for that, Annie made these videos. The first video I'm going to show is This Land Is Your Land. And this Annie put together, so you'll hear us singing in the background, and then these wonderful images that go perfectly with the song. Give me a moment to get my tech right. Andy, why don't you mute everybody? And I.
Except for Nat.
Oh. Nat, when I muted everybody, it muted you, so they might have missed the last of what you said. But
this land was made for you and me. One bright sunny morning, in the shadow of the steeple, by the relief office, I saw my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there wondering, is this land made for you and me? As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. I've roamed and rambled, I've heard my footsteps in sparkling sands over my footsteps. All around me, a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. Was a great high wall there that tried to stop me. Was a great big sign there, says private property. But on the backside, it didn't say nothing. That sign was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. To the New York Island. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking my freedom highway. Nobody living can make me turn This land was made for you and me.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island,
From the redwood forest
to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you.
I clicked one small thing. I hope that worked. I made one small error. I'm learning my job here. I don't know. I mean, we should unmute and we should talk a little bit about that. Maybe that project. That video combined two different projects of ours. The recording was made for our Pete Seeger album, and the video was made for 6 Degrees. Yeah, you should unmute yourselves.
Can I just say that I hadn't seen that before? I sadly was not able to come to one of the live concerts. And Annie, congratulations.
Yeah.
Your images are just so beautiful and really well done.
You.
Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And Annie singing that program, I didn't often see the videos behind my shoulder. So it's
Right.
lovely to see what you did.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to relax and watch the video rather than having to work at the same time as the video's running. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, I love how it all lined up with the pictures with the lyrics, which is not something that always happened when we did it live.
Right. You did a great job, Nat, conducting it at the same time. It was really amazing.
I would sweat so hard during that because we had the video running behind the live performance, and I had to speed up and slow down exactly as we did it on the recording. And there are these moments where we take a little time, the little extra banjo space, and I by the end of the year had kind of memorized how it went, but still there would be a split second where I'd be like, no, and we had to rush to catch up. But it is nice to see it perfectly aligned. Yeah. Andy, anything coming through on the feed?
Oh yeah, there's some people saying how nice that was, how great that was to hear. Jean is especially talkative. She's saying that as an English as a second language teacher, that song to teach English to her multilingual students, which is, I think, nice. And she also had a question for Brian. Now, she asked this a while ago, but Brian, she wanted to know if you went to the farmer's market tonight. I guess.
Tonight? Yes, I did. Well, I was around the green at the time, yes.
You guys might have seen each other.
That's kind of creepy, but whoever you are, I hope you had a nice time.
Oh, you have Zoom time.
Do you know where I am right now?
I just remind everyone who's watching that this event we're having is a fundraiser for the Vermont Food Bank, which is distributing an enormous amount of food right now. COVID-19 has like really increased food insecurity around the state. And I contacted them, and they let people know about this event as well. I want to show a video. It's a lovely video from them. This time I'll click the right button, so I hope we won't get Andy's face in the corner this time. I apologize. This is a video of, this is a very recent video the food bank made talking about what they're facing right now, what the state is facing right now. I think it's wonderful, and please make your donations to them. You can click on their website. There's an R on the announcement about this event. There was a button to donate, and you can also go straight to their website. So this is their video, voices. I think voices from the community, your neighbors' voices. It's called. I'm going to try to do this again. Hold on a sec. What is that? Whoops. Okay, so I think this is the right one.
I've definitely like started running out of things the past week because I spent so much of my money that I had left anything I could on food when we first, this all happened.
So, I mean, this is really impacting me big time. I mean, I had to apply for food stamps so I can have somewhere to eat while being on the front lines of this coronavirus.
If you're just here for vegetables, you can go in this line, but if you have children who need meals, you can wait here.
How many?
I collect my Social Security. That comes a third of the week. When that comes in, that covers my rent. So I'm afraid to buy food. I'm afraid I don't have enough money to pay like my electric and my phone bill and TV.
You hear what some people are going through, whether they're an older adult or they have, an underlying medical issue or they've been laid off from work, and they're trying to take care of their children who are at home right now from school. All of those stories matter.
My husband is doing essential work out of state. So I'm home with my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old, and that makes getting any kind of food really, really hard. Coming here a few times just to help stretch it, because there's no way I can go to a grocery store with my kids and have them maintain 6 feet of distance.
There's a lot of folks in these lines who are picking up food for other families and people who aren't able to get out of their homes, who aren't able to drive, whatever it might be. So that, I think, is the most poignant piece of this, is that we're stronger together and we are going to help each other through this.
And we have bags in here too that are going to...
Just today, finally, I got some reprieve because I didn't, I don't know what I was thinking. I didn't reach out to the school beforehand, but the Kindle Farm School literally delivered 3 full course meals, like three for person. Yeah, and we had like a bag of chicken, a bag of hot dogs, and like corn and like real food.
Yeah, until this passes, there's not much else we can do. Try to surf the wave and not go under,
I'm sorry, I still don't have the tech exactly right. I don't understand exactly why, but I'm doing my best here. So please, if you're watching, please think of the Vermont Food Bank. We really appreciate their work. It's rough. Then the next video we'll talk about a little before we do it is the longest one. It's a long performance. This is our live performance from February a year and a half ago at the Flynn Center for the Performing Arts in Burlington. This was a set we did. It's about 22 minutes long of African American spirituals and a gospel number. This was part of a celebration of Martin Luther King Jr. The Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. It was supposed to happen in January, but in the true nature of Vermont celebrations and such things, we had a blizzard. If you remember, motorcycle going by. There was a blizzard on the day of the actual that we were supposed to celebrate the Martin Luther King holiday. So we postponed the concert. It was a concert put on by the Vermont Youth Orchestra, and they played a variety of pieces, and then we were the guest performers on it. So I don't know. Shall I just play it and we'll discuss it afterwards? Okay. I'm gonna.
Well,
go ahead.
2 minutes. Maybe we should take a break like halfway through. What do you
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pause it after there were 6 songs, I think, so I'm gonna pause it after 3. Let me try to figure out what's going on with the video though. Okay. Just don't entirely understand why.
I think it's not a big deal.
Okay. I'm gonna try to put myself up in the corner if I appear again. I just don't understand why that happens. All right. So this is, we should mute everybody, and then this is the first 3 songs from the Flynn performance. Oh wait, not quite yet. Close that. All right.
Take a moment. It comes to the sound system.
Everybody hold on. Hold on. I said hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Sing for peace, sing it loud and clear. Sing it so the whole wide world can hear. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Shout for peace, stand your ground. Don't let anybody turn you round. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Hold on. Everybody hold on. Hold on. I said hold on. Hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on. Take your neighbor by the hand. Walk on through to the promised land. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your hand on that plow. Hold on.
Take courage, my soul, and let us journey on. For the night is long, and I am far from home. Thanks be to God. The morning light appears. The storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. 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 The storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. Hallelujah. The billows roll and thunder shakes the ground. The lightning's flashing and tempest all around. Jesus walks the sea and calms the angry waves. The storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. 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 The storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Soon we shall reach the distant shining shore. We'll be free from all the storms. We'll rest forevermore. Safe within the veil. We'll furl the ribbon sail. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. hallelujah. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Yes, the storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. 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 The storm is passing over. Oh, the storm is passing over. Lord, the storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. The storm is passing over. Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Lord, the storm is passing over. Yes, Lord, the storm is passing over. Hallelujah. The storm is passing over.
Fun to relive that. Wow. I forgot how convoluted some of that text is and the overlay and just some of the syncopation. It's brings
I
back.
forgot about the weather.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I was in Arizona when they rescheduled it.
We missed you. Yeah.
That's a big group.
Yeah, and there were several people who could like Maria who couldn't make it, right? There are a few of those who just it was pushed back by 3 weeks. We couldn't make it.
Still such a great sound though. Such a full sound.
Yeah.
The arrangements are fantastic. They're just.
I don't know if the people could see that what we were texting as we were talking as that was going on. It was like, oh, goosebumps, and there was some like magical chordage that happened that we knew about too, live time. But it's nice to listen to it.
Yeah,
really great too.
There's just so much we can do when you expand a section from 4 just to 6. We just have so much more color to play with and nuance to share. That's just, I always think about it being, more people, more sound, but it's really, really more than that.
Consider it to be a word that means magazine.
Sorry. Oh yes, what? Andy, comments from the viewers.
Yeah, they really enjoyed the spirituals. I think especially people enjoyed The Storm is Passing Over. And viewers, if you have any questions, you can type in the chat and I'll read them out.
Aaron was talking about having more singers, and many years ago, I was at a performance by kind of a piano rocker, like a rock dude who sat down at a Steinway for a performance that he didn't usually. He was usually used to playing in like dive bars with uprights, and he sat down and started rocking out and said, "Ooh, this is like driving a Maserati." And I really felt that performance, because I'm looking at the screen over here, but there were good like 25 people on stage, which was, for Counterpoint, a really big group. And I agree that the quality of what we could do, I mean, the pianos are quieter and the fortes are louder and the crescendos are more and everything is just more nuanced. And, the Flynn is a great place to perform too, because the audience was a full house.
Of course, the first challenge is how to snake on stage.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated venue compared to some churches.
Right.
I'm glad we have that on film though. That's good.
Yeah. Shall we do the second half of it?
I was just going to say that there is a video again that I compiled, I created to go with that music, The Storm is Passing Over. So I think it's on YouTube. I think we can actually see it on YouTube on the Counterpoint page.
Oh yeah, were we planning to do that with 6 Degrees possibly? And then we took it out?
We did it. We very infrequently. Yeah, because it was a hard piece. I think we did it once or twice. Yeah. So I forget what remains in this set. Every time I hear this set, I'm like, that's right. That's what we did in that order. But so I'm gonna do my best again to share it. We'll pick up right where we stopped for the other pieces in the African American set from February 2019. Oops. All right. Hold on, do that. And then we could.
Sorry, I just muted Nat as he was saying something, but hopefully it was not important.
Mute everybody.
Oh, I just did. Perfect.
I got a crown up in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I got a crown up in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up on my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't that good news? Good news. I got a harp up in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I got a harp up in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up, gonna take it home to my Jesus. Ain't that good news, good news? I got a robe up in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I got a robe up in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I'm gonna lay down this shoulder up my cross, take it home to my Jesus, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news, good news? I got a Savior in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I got a Savior in the kingdom, ain't that good news? Ain't that good news? I'm gonna lay down this world, gonna shoulder up on my cross, gonna take it home to my Jesus, ain't that good news? Good news, good news, good news, my God. Ain't that good news? My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Good Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. God shall rain and never stop. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Until I reach the mountain top. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. In the Lord. In the Lord. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. My Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Good Lord, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Do you love him? Oh yes. Do you love him? Hallelujah. Do you love him? Oh yes. God Almighty. Are you anchored? Are you anchored? Oh yes. Yes. Yes, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Yes. Will you serve him? Will you serve him? Oh yes. Will you serve him? Hallelujah. Will you serve him? Oh yes. God Almighty. Are you anchored? Are you anchored? Oh yes. Yes. And yes, my soul's been anchored in the Lord. Hallelujah. Will you praise him? Will you praise him? Oh yes. Will you praise him? Hallelujah. Will you praise him? Oh yes. God Almighty. Are you anchored? Yes, I'm anchored. Lord, I'm anchored. Oh yes. Lord, I love you. Oh yes. Yes, I'll serve you. Oh yes. Lord, I'll praise you. Oh yes. Hallelujah. My soul's been anchored in the Lord. Almighty God. Been anchored.
Oh, freedom.
Freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me.
Yes, Lord.
And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave.
And go home to my Lord and be free.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom.
Great God Almighty.
Oh, freedom over me. And before yes, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. And be free.
No,
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 no, over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. They'll be singing, singing, they'll be singing, singing, they'll be singing over me. And before I yes, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. No more weeping.
I want to say thank you all so much, you viewers, for your kind words. Lynn Vera says, have always loved Counterpoint since first introduced by Carolyn Dickinson. Great to see her in this winter concert video. Just beautiful voices. Thank you. So thank you, Lynn. And Cheryl Wood says, oh my goodness, it's clear the audience loved that just as much as I did. So thank you so much, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Yeah, that was a fabulous set. Yeah, Erin raised an interesting point in the chat in our chat just now, and especially we're thinking about in these days. It was an interesting project to undertake. We are we're the whitest state, or almost the whitest state in the union, and the ensemble singing that day had no people of color really in it, and yet we were asked to do this set of all African American music, and we spent some time in rehearsal talking about that, and we had a wonderful day where some of us who could went to the Vermont Youth Orchestra rehearsal. We sang one of the pieces for them. I don't remember which one. They were playing the Dvorak Symphony from the New World and the slow movement, which is based on a melody that Dvorak wrote, but that was supposed to sound like an African American spiritual. And we sang that, and we sang maybe one of the other pieces we were working on, and we talked about this strange question of white choirs singing this music, which was published and has been sung by white choirs for many decades, but still raises interesting concerns and questions that has to be done, I think, with care and with respect. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts about that, but it's always an interesting question.
Nat, I was struck when you were rehearsing the program by how much you knew about Dawson and the other arrangers and Burley, and I feel like you really conveyed what they were trying to get through in the music to us.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
That was really helpful.
Thank you. I mean, I love their music. I have to say, I couldn't, and I will say, since this moment started where we're really looking into systemic racism in this country and trying to do anti-racist work, if any of you follow my Facebook, I have been listening to a lot of William Grant Still and Florence Price and Ulysses Kay, a lot of classical African-American composers, also Jose Mauricio Nunez Garcia, who was a composer of color in the early 19th century in Brazil. Many years ago, Counterpoint sang a piece of his. But I've just been finding this amazing music. There's not a lot of choral music by some of these folks, but I've just been using this moment as an opportunity to slightly increase my own knowledge of the contributions of composers of color, because they're so not, other than this music, which we were just singing, which has always been part of the choral repertory, but there's so much music out there that's worth hearing. I'll put in a, so Brian said that I just want to put in a word for Florence Price's second violin concerto. It is amazing. Check it out. Florence Price is the violin concerto number 2. All right.
For people that are looking for sort of a consolidation of some of this music, the Nathaniel Dett Chorale in Toronto has always, conducted by Brainerd Blyden Taylor, has always had this as a mission, first of all, to promote the music written and arranged by Nathaniel Dett, but also to promote music from the Black community in Ontario and Canada. They have a slightly broader mission than that as well. And their membership is not exclusively Black or a person of color. But they've been around for, I want to say, pushing 20 years now. And so for those of people who might be looking for a place to start where some of this music is consolidated, and Brainerd himself has done a lot of writing on this topic. So just to give people a starting point if they're interested in looking and hearing more.
Yeah, it's kind of I think it's often a cliche that music, of course, brings people of diverse backgrounds together to find some common ground and so forth. And it's really easy to just sort of lull ourselves into that music as a cure-all thing. But I think listening to this repertoire I'm so hopeful that we can somehow bring this music with us forward as we all move forward as a culture. Because if we don't think about it consciously, it's easily a casualty of white privilege and reevaluating that, because obviously as an all-white group, like many all-white groups that have sung this over the decades, centuries, we're privileged to be able to sing this because none of us or any of our families or ancestors were actually slaves and actually had the, came out of the context where this music, ultimately originated. So it's kind of the ultimate, it's a mark of privilege to be able to sing this in the concert setting, as opposed to having belonged to the actual tradition from where it came. So I'm hopeful that we can just bring all of this great music, because it's great music. It shouldn't be discarded. It shouldn't be thrown away. We just have to find some way to do it, and to have it grow and live. So it's just wonderful to hear this again in this moment.
That makes me think about Counterpoint's founder, Robert de Cormier, and maybe Linda, you could speak a little bit to this about just, I've kind of heard that Robert might have gotten criticism in his lifetime for arranging African-American Black music. And yet the service that he did to my generation, right, is introduce us to this music. You're muted, Linda.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting point, Melissa, and that's something that I remember us touching on when we were talking about this when we were rehearsing. Is that like there's that dichotomy where you don't want to sort of appropriate the music, but how can you like celebrate it and have it be heard, and get people to be able to hear it, right? Like that's part of this sort of like broader cultural integration and acceptance, is like being exposed to other cultures.
Mm-hmm. I do remember feeling very much that sort of imposter syndrome when we were actually warming up for this concert in the space next to the Flynn, which I don't remember what that gallery is called, but it was bedecked with African artifacts on all the walls. And I was just looking around the room at like, wow, we are as white as the walls, except for the art on it. And
I remember that, yeah.
I remember just feeling a lot of gratitude to be able to sing that music and to be able to sing it with a group of people from which I did not feel any kind of sense of appropriation or entitlement, just a lot of gratitude and appreciation for the music. It's a privilege. It's the term that's used, a lot about whiteness, but it was a real privilege to be able to join together in singing this music.
And Jean Fahey adds to the conversation by saying, we all have to take a deep dive into Black authors, and recently books on anti-racism. We visit James Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
The next clip we have is the last performance that anybody in Counterpoint gave before the lockdown happened. This was in March of this year. I think it was a week or 2 weeks before the state shut down. This was at Ohavi Zedek Synagogue in Burlington, where we were invited to sing some repertory, some Jewish repertory, but then also, and this other piece that we're going to play, at the installation of the new cantor, of the new music director at the synagogue. So what you'll see in the clip is we're standing actually in the synagogue. The piece we're performing is a piece called Connected. Judith Silver is the composer. It was chosen by cantor Steve Zeidenberg, who was being installed there for us to sing. And it's a lovely little clip. It's a great song we didn't know.
I'm going to leave because I'm kind of...
Okay. Goodbye, Linda.
Bye.
All right. So I'm gonna try not to do it the way I did it before. I didn't have Andy's face. I'm not sure what I did, but you managed to minimize yourself eventually. You figured that out, Andy, last time.
And it's not my face.
Sorry?
So we can just go with it and see what
okay. We'll see how it goes. Here we go. So this is Connected by Judith Silver from this March. Lovely, lovely piece. We're all muted. All right.
connected to the last. We will be what we do from first to last. Depends on you, depends on me. You are my cousin, my brother, my sister, my friend. We are one family, this ancient feud must end. My pain is your pain, Depends on you, depends on me.
Are we back?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, Melissa, was that just you who said that? You just
I did. We're here.
hold on a sec. There's a lot of chat here, but yeah, I think you said it's wild to think that was pre-COVID. Whoops. There we go.
That was wild.
Yeah, because that was 2.5 months ago, and it feels like several years ago. But that was the last live performance some of us were involved in. I would say that when we did that, we were 2 weeks away from the first performances of Stravinsky's Symphony of Psalms in northern Vermont in living memory, which have all been canceled and postponed indefinitely for years and years. We don't know when we'll get that back. So, yeah. Those of you who are watching, stay tuned. Check our website. We have all kinds of wonderful music we're planning to sing when we can gather to actually sing it. Any comments on the YouTube?
Not yet about connected.
Oops. All right. We have just 2 more short videos to finish up with. These both are videos that Annie made, again, going back to taking earlier recordings of ours and putting images to them. The first is actually not just Counterpoint. As many of you know, we have, except for this year, we have an annual music festival concert called the Sing for Peace, Vermont Sings for Peace. And going on 2 years ago, was it? I think we had maybe it was 3, I don't remember. We had all of the choirs who were there, and there were many, many, many choirs and lots of people. Must have been the 10th anniversary because they had 10 choirs or almost, something like that. We all sang We Shall Overcome in Robert de Cormier's arrangement with Adam Hall doing the solo. And it was recorded in the very resonant chapel at St. Michael's College. So this is several hundred singers singing. There's a lot of echo and a lot of space. And everyone's a little bit far from the microphone. It was recorded on someone's iPhone, but it's a lovely recording and very full of spirit. And Annie took it and made a beautiful video about the devastation the climate change was causing and the need to overcome that. So many of us were at that concert because it was a really nice, I think that was the 10th Peace concert. So it was going on 3 years ago. So I'll play that now.
I think it was after Hurricane Harvey that I created the movie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so it was that year.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on. All right, so this is We Shall Overcome. It's Counterpoint and lots of other choirs singing in the St. Michael's Chapel about 3 years ago.
So Gene Fahey says about that, the music is powerful alone, but with the video images, tells such a story of how much we indeed have to overcome. Then the hopeful images blend in with the hope of the song. Beautiful. So thank you again, Annie, for making such a wonderful video.
A reminder that we do want you to make a donation if you can to Vermont Food Bank. VT, I don't remember their website offhand. There's a link on the emails that went out. If you got an email for this event, there's a link in there to donate. There's also a link on our website on our events page, and you can just Google them. But they are due.
I also pasted it in the chat for the YouTube, so if people want it there, they'll have to copy paste it into their browser, but that is to their site directly off the email.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, because I do not have the capability to do that. My technology is limited. But really, as we said at the beginning, we are Vermont and the whole world, but Vermont food bank is Vermont feed is fed by the Vermont Food Bank is facing an unprecedented worst case scenario of food insecurity. Just people losing their jobs, not making as much money they used to. It's really, really rough. We're going to finish with Turn the World Around. Annie, you have to explain what you did with this song because it was brilliant. How you turned this into, how you made it about alternative energy.
Oh, okay. So it's the fire, the wind, the earth, and the water, basically, the four spirits. And I decided, because in fact, actually, it was the first one that I did. I think it was the first video that I did because I was listening to the words and thinking how appropriate it was for climate change. And the fact that you have solar power, which is the sun, or the fire or the heat, and you have hydro, which is the water. What else? There was the wind, obviously. And what's the last one? The earth. Well, basically mountains, that it refers to mountains there. And so I just found some images that kind of went along with that. And it just seemed to fit so well. Yeah. Gets the message across, I thought.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, Melissa, this has been in the repertoire of Counterpoint from the very beginning, right? You're muted.
I said yes from before the beginning. It's like the text of of Counterpoint because Robert did it with Harry Belafonte. So talking about integration, right? I'm glad actually to take this opportunity to mention how Robert, just apropos of our discussion about the Gospels and African American music, how Robert with the Harry Belafonte singers crossed the color lines, in the late 50s and early 60s. That's so huge. So this was a Harry Belafonte song.
So we're gonna finish with this. We'll just say a few goodbyes when we're done. Anyone else want to add anything? Counterpoint sings this a lot, but all right. I don't seem to be able to get rid of the little box, but thank you, Andy, for smiling at the camera when you can't figure out how to make it go away. Actually, it was Brian last time around. I think you were stuck on the screen, so I don't know. Anyway, here we go. This is Turn the World Around with the images about alternative energy and also some images about what happens when we don't use alternative energy with images done by Annie DeLivo. All right, last one.
we want to go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. Da 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 da. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain, go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? You do. I know who I am. See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? I know very clearly. See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life. Nobody wants. So is life. Whoa, so is life. Nobody wants. So is life. Da 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 da. Water made the river washed the mountain, fire made the sun, and turned the world around. Mountains of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sun, and turned the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only can the spirit turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only can the spirit turn the world around. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Whoa, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? See we one another clearly. See we one another clearly. Do we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so everybody see who I am. So you are. See we one another. So everybody see who we are. So you are. Oh, so everybody see we one another clearly. So is life. Oh, so everybody see we one another clearly. So is life. Oh, so is life. Nobody wants. So is life. Oh, so is life. Nobody wants. So is life.
Oops. Huh.
That brings back memories. I have seen that video so many times.
Wow, Annie,
Trying to
the
get
last two images as the song, heightens and goes out were just fabulous. They were amazing.
Thank you. I think it's my favorite one. I still love that one so much.
Any comments from the world of YouTube before we go?
Yeah, some very nice comments. Yona Shire says, I'm so glad I remembered to tune in. Well, we're glad that you remembered to tune in as well, Yona. Awesome music and wonderful graphics. Jean Fay says, thank you, Anne, for the video. Nathaniel, you are awesome and you had big shoes to fill. Counterpoint, so talented. Each of you blending your voices and filling our hearts. So thank you, Jean. It means a lot. And thank you to everybody who tuned in, who was chatting, and who, if you felt so inclined and were able, who donated to the Vermont Food Bank.
Yes, indeed. Whoops. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys, counterpointers who were here, who joined for this. Thank you for putting up with my technological inabilities sometimes. This is by far the most complicated thing I've ever done on a computer.
Great.
But I think it worked. And it was a lovely opportunity to do this when we can't rehearse, we can't perform together. This is an opportunity. So those of you audience out there, stay in touch. Look at our website. Some of these videos are posted on the website, and there's some other wonderful old videos as well, wonderful ones. And we'll be back.
One quick question from Yona. Will this video be available to view later?
Yes, so this video will be up in the same link. It's my own YouTube page. Once we're done and I ended, it will just sit there and anyone can go back and forth and watch it. I believe those things just live there. The YouTube lives then just get turned into permanent videos. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding.
Yeah, that's mine too.
All right. I know. This is great. Well, we'll sing together and sing apart. And good night. Thank you.
See your faces.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.